everyone, welcome back to Pokemon Master EX. So today we are here once again for Gloria and Zacian. This time is their EX showcase, since yes, I managed to upgrade them up to EX status. It took me some tickets, and they are not the only one that I got to EX status recently. Dawn and Torterra also got there because they also were 20 out of 20 way before their EX form released. But today the focus is on Gloria and Zacian. They released not a long time ago with the first Prestige and hopefully the last event of the game. The Prestige event was an event where you ranked using points, and if you use Gloria and Zacian, you went further beyond with the bonuses compared to other units. Gloria and Zacian come from Galar, which is the region of Sword and Shield, and they are the female protagonist and the Sword Legendary respectively. So we will explore today all they have to offer, so animations, the differences between her main and her EX costume, the dialogue, the animations also for Zacian and its voice, since it doesn't have a dialogue. Then we will go and see the story, so a day with Gloria, and then we have of course also the Pokemon Center dialogues and the gameplay showcase. So hopefully you guys will enjoy the ride as usual. Remember that the EX showcases are a little more in depth compared to my usual showcases. I will check back with you guys just in a moment, because we will go into the analysis of Gloria and Zacian, and then the analysis of my Singrid and some other options for other Singrids you can do for them. So let's go straight into it. So here we are, let's see what this star from Galar has to offer together with their legendary, and see what's their role inside of Pokemon Master EX. So as you can see by the stats, we have a high attack and high speed, since it means that Zacian will be a physical attacker and with a very powerful speed stat. Not the best stat line that we have seen on an attacker, but probably amongst the best ones that we have in the game. So let's see what they have to offer in attacks. We have a Behemoth Blade. The move power increases if the target has a sync buff, which is the buff that you get after you do a sync move. So this explains the first way you can use Zacian, and probably its niche. Basically, both Behemoth Blade and their sync move deal extra damage if the target has a sync buff. So this means that they are sort of a sync buff punisher unit, which means that they are very good even outside of having an enemy with weakness to steel if the enemy has a sync buff. This makes them really strong, especially on single target, since both Behemoth Blade and Play Rough are single target. Also amazing against units such as the Legendary Arena or other difficult content where the fights last longer than one sync move, since they will deal increased damage against the enemy. That's one of their main role. We have a Move Gauche Boost, probably not the best ability for an attacker. It would have been better if she had something like attack or critical hit race in here, but it works if you fell behind. Why? Because Behemoth Blade costs 4 Gauches, which is quite a lot for a standard move, but as we saw with the Lens, you can make them work if they have the MP Refresh, which she has in her Singrid. Then we have Play Rough, which is Fairy, and also another very powerful single target move. So this is the second way you can use Zacian and Gloria. You can go towards a Fairy type nuker, so you focused around the fact that you want to destroy enemies who are weak to Fairy, then this attack is perfect for you. Her trainer move is Laser Sharp Focus, with only one charge. This reduces the sync move cooldown by 1, then it raises attack by 2, and then ensures that the next attack is a critical hit. Very good, not very good with the fact that it has only one charge, but very good with the fact that it does everything that an attacker needs. Sync move reduction, attack up, and a critical hit guarantee. This also gets refreshed if you use the sync move because of her passive. We will see which one it is in a second. We have First Entry 2, Sharp raises the user attack when the Pokemon enters a battle, so it starts with attack plus 2. Then we have Move Gauche Refresh 4, has a good chance of charging the user move gauge by 1 when a move is successful. Really good, since it means that if you get MP refresh on Behemoth Blade, most of the time you will replenish up to 3 or 4 bars of move gauge, which is enough to attack again, of course. And then Sync Burst 1 restores 1 HP for the user when a sync move is used for the first time. This works for both move gauge and laser sharp focus, so make sure to use each of them before you go with your first Behemoth Blade. So, what do we have to say about Gloria? She's very specific, that's for sure. You want to use her whenever the enemy has a sync buff to her utmost potential. But I feel like that she's actually very strong. After having her upgraded to max, I can safely say that she's probably my most powerful single target attacker, while Red, for example, is very strong in AoE. I feel like, however, that she will probably see most of her time into Legendary Arena or prestige events or other type of events where the fight is guaranteed to go for a lot of time rather than in normal strategies in this game. But I feel like that there is a ton of hard content that relies on long fights, so I can safely say that she's very good. She's also Pokefair, so she's limited, but make sure to grab at least one copy of her since her sync grid doesn't really shine at 3 out of 5, 1 out of 5 is good enough. We will see, however, that I went to 3 out of 5 because I love Sword and Shield for what it was, and so I wanted to have the first unit from there at least to a powerful status. What lucky skill should you aim for Gloria? So I prefer to go with, let me think, it was Power Flux 3, because Power Flux 3 powers up the more move gauge you have. Since Behemoth Blade costs 4, it kinda works together and it felt like it was good enough. Other options include Critical Strike 2, it is also a very good option, or if you go for a fairy build, I'd say having the super duper effective lucky skill makes sense since you want to focus on the fact that you are against enemies who are weak to fairy. Another thing, remember that Zacian is weak to fire and there is a ton of Pokemon who use fire in this game, so make sure to have him as your third in tactics to not get hit from fire attacks. Now we will go into the sync grid to see what it has to offer and how it improves Gloria and Zacian. Once again, I will say that this unit is very good, I like them very much in what they do, and hopefully you guys do as well. Let me know what you think about Gloria and Zacian in the comments, but for now, let's jump into the sync grids. So here we are with my sync grid, let's see what the build that I made has to offer, and then I will give you guys some other options. Then I will tell you guys some teams that I think Gloria is very well suited with, and then we will jump into the animations and dialogue part of the video, and of course then the story, the gameplay, etc. You guys know the drill if you saw any of the showcases by now. So, on the top left we have a tile representing the move gauge boost move, which is the one that restores your move gauge. On the top right we have Behemoth Blade tiles. On the bottom right we have a mix between the laser hit focus and the player off, and on the bottom left we have the player off tiles. You can see by this description that I went for a Behemoth Blade build. So what you want for a Behemoth Blade build? Well, the first thing is that you want the power ups, so those two and those other three right here. You can skip this one since the aim should be also to get the MP refresh 2 here and the move gauge refresh 2 here. You also want to get this move gauge boost MP refresh since you want a safe spot whenever you don't trigger the MP refresh for Behemoth Blade by using the move gauge boost, which is of course an essential part of Gloria strategy if you use Behemoth Blade. Then we have Critical Ferocity 2, which is also essential because this makes it so that you don't really need to run laser sharp focus, since you can power up your attack just by doing the critical hit that you trigger with the first laser sharp focus that Gloria gets, the first one by the start of the fight and the second one when you restore it with the sync move. Overall, this build is focused around doing the maximum damage with Behemoth Blade, and let me tell you, it works. There are other options that you could take for this build. For example, you could skip Critical Ferocity and move gauge boost, and you could aim to go for laser sharp focus, so you want to rely on the trainer move, and then get Adrenaline 1 or Burst In. I feel like, for example, that Adrenaline 1 is quite decent, especially if you want to spam the sync move, but all in all, for single target builds, this one probably is one of the most solid. Personally, I also think that if you go for EX, you should aim to go for Behemoth Blade damage, since of course EX means that you raise the Gloria stats and the Behemoth Blade will deal even more damage. Or you could go for the Behemoth Blade Glorious version, which is the sync move, by getting of course those tiles and the one that power up the sync move itself. So for example Adrenaline 1, then you have Burst-in, which doesn't really work. Then Headstrong and Head Start. Maybe Head Start is probably the other option for a sync move build. The other build, of course, that comes to mind is the Fairy one, which should be gotten by going like this, for example. You get all the power-ups for Fairy, those one, and this one right here. And then you want to get this MP refresh for Play Rough. I also think that the one on the bottom left right here should be an MP refresh. Let's check it out. Yes, no, this one is on a roll. This is also really good because it means that you can lower the attack of the enemy, since that's the effect of Play Rough. Is it a good build? Yes, because there are not many fairy types Pokemons. Clefairy isn't the best, and if you build Zacian around fairy type damage, probably it is a very solid build. You also don't need to go 3 out of 5 to make the most out of it, so it is a really good option for a budget build. The last build that I want to talk about is probably a mixed one where you go for both Fairy and Behemoth Blade. So for example it should look something like this. This type of build probably is not of the best, but it makes it so that Gloria has somewhat of a versatile role, so that she can start, for example, by using Play Rough, and then whenever the enemy buff itself with the sync move, you can go and spam Behemoth Blade. It can work in some scenarios, for example, Legendary Arenas where the Pokemon changes types. For example, it does Fairy at the beginning and then it goes into something else, or into multi-battle type of scenarios, so you get the idea. Probably not the best use. I'd rank them like this: Behemoth Blade for single target, then the Fairy build for enemies that are weak to Fairy, and then the double build. So we went through them in this order, so it makes sense that I rank them like this. I leave you guys with the image if you guys want to copy it. Let me know your own sync grid for Gloria, and if you like mine, or if you have a critic. I accept any kind of critic, of course. Now, let's go and see what team I can come up with for Gloria. I'd say that it is fairly easy to make a team for her, since she's meant to be a main attacker, or in some cases an off attacker. This team that you see right here is the team that I made for the Legendary Arena, and it is a team based around the fact that Gloria is the main attacker. You have Leaf as a healer debuffer, and then of course Dawn as a tank. She can work really well with this team, and the comp stays the same. You can change the members however you like. I suggest that if you want to go full steel, for example, you replace Dawn with Yasmin, which has Steelix and also a really good sync grid, and the Leaf with, for example, another steel type to get the type skill buff. For example, Aegislash or, for example, Metagross work really well in that role. You can also switch Gloria to be an off attacker if you want, if you have Steven, so they work really well. Other option can include, of course, for tank Skyla, which is free, and for off attacker instead, or debuffer and healer, of course, you also have Christmas Rosa actually became really good with her sync grid. Then you have Lysia, which will have an EX showcase very soon, and also, of course, other units that buff physical moves, guys. Remember, if you want a buffer, go for physical moves. If you want a debuffer, go to lower defense and not special defense. That's the main idea around teams. More detailed information will be on the left as usual. Now we will go into the animation and EX showcase of the costume, and then of course we will have the story and the Pokemon Center dialogue, plus the gameplay showcase, which will show you guys how good the EX move is against, for example, the very hard sync move stage. So, what else I've left to say? Remember to leave a like and a sub, since my voice will go away from here. The rest of the video will be unvoiced, since of course the focus will be on the showcase of the trainer itself, in their dialogue, animations, the story, etc. I will see you guys next for Pokemon Master EX, probably with a story or a showcase. The gacha that will come on the 20 will be the next gacha. I won't roll on the Christmas unit that came out today, so I'm sorry if there are some Skyla and Erika fans. But for now, guys, enjoy the rest of the showcase. Hopefully you like Gloria. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it. I will see you next time, and enjoy the rest of the showcase.
あたしユーリ、ガラル地方のハロンタウンってところから来たの。どうぞよろしくね。初めて冒険に出発するときにね、ママが使ってたバッグをもらったの。このバッグはあたしの宝物なんだ。強いバディーズがたくさんいるこの大舞台で絶対に勝ってみせる。やる気十分ごめん。いいかな。やるぞー。いっちゃえー。ねえ。 やるぞー。ふっふん。やるぞー。さすがー。はあ、よろしくね。いざ参る。さあ行くわよ。行くよ。よし、それ行くよ。そこだ見誤っちゃった。